journalism, there is science journalism, there is economic journalism, in fact there's peace journalism, name the rest, but then there is Catholic journalism. Up next we'll be finding out what's the difference between journalism in general and Catholic journalism in particular, and it's such an honor once again to have you, Martin Jumbam.
Thank you very much, Divine.
Such a pleasure. I mean, the topics are always so catchy and interesting that we can't miss you.
Sure, you know, it's a good thing to talk about different aspects of journalism. You mentioned the others, economic journalism, environmental journalism. The young man who talked a little earlier, he talked about what they're doing to clean up the environment, and it's a wonderful thing. And, well, mentioning Catholic journalism, the Catholic Church has its own terminology.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's why you need those specialties.
Exactly, so divine. You know, when we created, or when the Archbishop, then the Emeritus today, Cardinal Toomey, created Radio Veritas,
Yes.
I remember we employed young people, fresh from Boya, from the University of Boya.
Yeah.
From
Journalism, mass communication.
Mass communication and journalism from the University of Boya. And well, these were very qualified young men and women. And we put them to work almost immediately. And I remember listening to some of them cover a mass, a holy mass from a parish. And I was shocked. You see, so the cardinal was on a pastoral visit. And of course, we sent some two young people there to cover the mass. And it was clear that we had a lot of work to do.
Okay.
Yes, because although, you know, they follow all the principles of journalism, but they did not have the terminology of the Catholic
Yeah, because
Church.
someone would say journalism is journalism because it is hinged on basic principles
That's correct.
and fundamentals which you master, and all that matters is about gathering, treating, and disseminating
Information. But then, you know, whether it is environmental journalism, economic journalism, or Christian journalism, Catholic journalism, whatever, you know, you need the terminology of the house.
and an understanding of the processes.
And understanding of what's going on,
Right.
you know. And so what we do when we are training our people is to say, well, listen, when you see a mass going on, what's happening there?
Okay.
If you are sent to cover a mass which is said by the cardinal, you know, how do you report what's going on, what you see? If it is the archbishop, what do you see? If it's a priest, what is he doing? Because sometimes
They're all different in
they're
other
all
words.
different, yes.
Right.
And especially in the vestments, you know, what they wear.
Okay.
Yes. The young people were sent to cover the first mass for Radio Veritas. Good people, well qualified young men. You know, they were reporting the cardinal's hat, you know, the cardinal's walking stick. Those things have their own specific words, you know. The cardinal or the bishop wears a mitre.
You don't
the stick
call
is
it a walking stick.
A walking stick, you
Right.
know. No. So when we heard that, I went to the cardinal and I said, hey, listen, we have work to do here. You know, these young men and women doing a good job, but they are still not Catholic journalists. And so we got into the habit of organizing seminars.
All right.
Yeah, to get our young people to become Catholic journalists.
Okay.
Instead of just general journalists, they were Catholic journalists. And how did we do it? We got, by then I was the general manager of the printing press here. With
Macacos?
Macacos, yes,
Right.
with Radio Veritas under its protection. And so I got, first of all, I myself, I was learning a lot.
All right.
You know, I couldn't say I would call these young men and brief them on how to become Catholic journalists. Many of those things I didn't know myself. So I said, well, this is a learning process for all of us. Let me get some priests,
Okay.
yes, who will come and tell us what they expect of us as Catholic journalists.
Okay.
And so we got the Vicar General of the Archdiocese at the time, Monsignor Nyaga. And I also got a priest, a friend of mine from Boya, Father Moses Tazo, and I'm happy to say that he just celebrated his 40th anniversary as a priest
Okay.
of the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, the Diocese of Boya, actually, who is a journalist, who is a writer.
Okay.
So we got all of them together, and with our journalists, and we got some of them from Kumbu and from Boya, and from ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, and we had a meeting here, two-day training session.
Okay.
On how to be a Catholic journalist.
Would you say you're satisfied at what came out, the outcome?
Yeah, the outcome was fairly good. But what I keep telling the young men is that you cannot be satisfied with what you have or with what you are. You keep building, right?
All
you
right.
keep, you keep trying to improve. And when you see a young man who's been saying the same thing day in, day out, and so you know that he's not making
stagnant.
and he's stagnant, not making any progress.
Right.
So we tell them, look, the internet is there. If you want to know what's happening, go into the internet, beautiful websites, and you find out what is expected of you. Listen to people. We tell them, if you are a Catholic journalist, first of all, you must. Well, there are criteria. Of course. You must be a Catholic.
I was going to come to that. Right.
You must first of all be a Catholic, a baptized Catholic.
That's segregatory.
Yeah, to an extent, yes. Because if you have somebody who is from a different faith, reporting for the church and
the
so
Pope's
on,
visit
the
or
Pope's
his
visit,
trips across the world, for example.
They may not feel it as such. You have to have the feeling and the training and the formation. In the Catholic Church. So you must be a communicant, you must be baptized, a communicant, confirmed. And if you are, we encourage our journalists to get married, and you don't have to, this come we stay business that doesn't work, And we have stories around that, because there was a young man in Boya who was one of our journalists out in Boya, was living with a woman. And one day he went to distribute Le Fort Camerounais in the bishop's house, and the bishop called him in and said, look, I want you here in 2 weeks' time. I'm assigning a priest to you and your wife. You will have the doctrine of the church on marriage, and you will get married. The young man was stunned. He said, but we are not prepared. They say, no, I'll prepare you, because you cannot be a journalist and be living with a woman in an irregular situation. That one is not.
You're flouting regulations.
Yeah, right. There are some of those things which you don't have to do. And then, coming back to training, which I strongly encourage that, because you have to keep your people constantly up to date with what's happening. Many things are changing, even in the church. What's happening in the Vatican? How does that affect us as a local church, church in Cameroon? That one is important to know. Well, sometimes when we have a training, I tell my people, first of all, tell me, if I were to look into your briefcase as a Catholic journalist, what should I see? Yes. Some of those things, in addition to your tape recorder, which I believe you will have, and your jotter, what is it?
What do you expect to see?
I would expect to see a Catholic journalist, first of all, with a Bible. Okay. I would expect to see with a missal, where you have the daily prayers and the mass and so on. It gives the readings of the day, and so that if you're going to cover a mass on a Sunday, you must know what the readings are. Okay. Yes, what is going to be.
It's not football match commentary.
You stand there and see. No. There must be some order in the way you do it. And we tell young people, if you're going to, if our Archbishop is going to a parish, which they do quite often, the Archbishop or the Archbishop Emeritus, our Archbishop is His Excellency Samuel Cleda, by the way. And the Emeritus Archbishop is Christian Cardinal Toomey. Both of them go on pastoral visits to different parishes. So we tell the young people, if you're going to cover a bishop's visit, say, to my parish, which is Our Lady of Annunciation Parish in Bodamosadi.
That's in Douala, right?
Yes, in Douala. Yeah. The first thing you should do is, before the bishop is going to visit them on a certain day, get in contact with the parish priest.
All right.
Yes. Go there a few days before and find out something about the parish. When was the parish created? How many parish priests have been there? Who is the parish priest now? Talk with them, and talk with members of the Economic and Social Council who help the priest to run the parish.
In other words, that's called immersion.
Yeah, yeah. Have some kind of vox pop around there, so that you know people attention is focused on that parish.
Right.
But more often than not, you know, especially with young people, you may have them popping up a few hours or a few minutes sometimes before the mass in the parish. You visibly see them; they're not prepared, and so on. So, in that case, the reporting cannot be good.
Okay.
So we tell them, listen, you know, this is what you do before the bishop goes there. Go there at least, or give a call, even if you cannot visit the parish alone. Give a call and have a history of the parish. Every parish has its history,
okay,
as you of course know. And so that's the way we train our journalists and try to make them Catholic journalists.
Okay. Yes. I can give you some, I mean, this, I'll not say a scoop, but it's just information that we all need to know.
Right.
We receive every now and then a couple of job applications and requests for internship, especially from the new fresh graduates in journalism. And well, if you now know, if you want to become a Catholic journalist, then you know what it takes to become one. You need to be a Catholic, first of all. You've heard it all. You need to be married or single. Don't stay in that concubine kind of relationship and think that you fall under the canopy. And I can tell you up front that because we have these sprouting media houses, salaries have become a problem, right? So you want to fall under the canopy of the Catholic Church where you know that your pay is going to be guaranteed, it's going to be steady. But then we only have Veritas, the radio and TV in Cameroon.
Oh, no. Many dioceses
Les Four
now.
Camerounais
Yes.
in Cameroon. I mean, those are the Catholic media and news outlets in Cameroon.
Yes, but
do you need to train so many people for only this number of
no, they're not.
institutions?
It's not only Veritas and Les Four Camerounais right now. We have in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda. And when we talk of ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, we're talking about the Archdiocese of Bamenda,
right,
the Diocese of Kumbu, the Diocese of Mamfe, the Diocese of Kumbana, and the Diocese of Boya.
Okay.
They form the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda. And there is the Radio Evangelium.
All right.
Yes, which is
okay,
now in Bamenda, in Kumbu, I believe in Mamfe and Kumba, I'm not sure. But Boya also has its own diocesan radio station.
Okay.
I think it's Radio Divine Mercy or something like that. I'm not sure.
All right.
That could be
I
wrong
hope
there.
you were, because my name is in there.
Divine, right? Yes, so there is right now many dioceses are creating their radio stations.
That's
there,
good
there
news.
is the awareness that the message of the gospel has to go out to people, and that you reach people through the mass media.
Okay.
You and I talked about this the other time I was here, about the importance of the mass media in spreading the gospel, and it's becoming increasingly aware. I mean, the church is becoming increasingly aware of that aspect.
Okay.
Yes, and
Previously they were reticent.
oh yeah,
and
quite
reluctant
reticent. Maybe nobody knew what they were getting into at the time. You know, I mentioned the last time that when we started Radio Veritas here in Douala, none of us knew what we were getting into.
Yeah, there's a lot of feed
it was just because of the foresight of the cardinal, who said, listen, let's get into this thing.
Okay.
You know, if we fail along the way, we take a step back, go back to the drawing board and see where we went wrong.
Okay.
You know, and it was, I believe other dioceses were just looking and watching and seeing, hey, how is this going to work out? And it's worked out very well.
I think it does.
Yes. And
it does. On Veritas, for example, you give space to other denominations.
Oh, yes.
To come,
yes.
Which means, you're not discriminatory.
Not at all. We have, I think, Église Évangélique that has a program there once a week or something like that. And, you know, we're open to other faiths, even those who are not in communion with the Church of Rome. We invite them to come in and do programs.
Okay.
Yeah. There is the need for this ecumenical cooperation in the area of the media. In fact, there is a document issued by the Pontifical Council for Social Communication in Rome, which encourages Catholic media to work hand in hand with the media of the other churches.
Okay.
Yes, such that the message of peace, of justice, reconciliation can actually go out to everyone. So we're open, you know. The Presbyterian Church of Cameroon, I once talked to someone from that church, and I said, look, if you people want to have space on Radio Veritas, I believe it can be done.
Okay.
You know, just go meet the bishop or meet the director of the radio, because the Evangelical Church of Cameroon already has a program.
Okay.
And I believe will be open to others as well. Well, I don't have the authority, but I believe that
it's all about talking.
It's all about talking.
Cross-denominational negotiations.
Just send an application or meet the people who are in charge and tell them we want space there. And I will encourage that, because then you have the voice of the Presbyterian Church in English on Radio Veritas. Yes.
Well, thank you sincerely for coming.
It's always my pleasure, Divine.
It's such a pleasure to have you here and talk about these interesting topics.
Right.
Thanks once again. Despite the it's been tough in Douala with the rains and the snarl-ups.
Boy, it's not been. I got stuck in the wrong point there for a good 30-40 minutes before I get here. And you know, when it rains this much in Douala, there's flooding all over. And
despite the second bridge on the river.
Despite the second bridge on the river, you know, right now, if you're going by the port area, you're a small car, you're likely going to be stuck in the flood down there, you see. And whatever is left of the roads, if you can call those roads at all, it's all clogged by traffic. Okay. And it's not easy.
I hope the authorities are taking note.
I hope they are. Let me tell them again, the roads in Douala are really broken. It's a shame for us to call this the economic capital. Let them do something about it.
Thanks once again for coming.
Okay, Divine. Thank you always for inviting me.
Okay. Take our greetings
whenever you need me.
We will need you again very soon, because we're cooking up something interesting for our viewers.
Right.
For when you come next. And then let's stay on with the infrastructure in Douala, because this is a country that was supposed to play host to the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Some say fortunately. I'm not the one saying fortunately, right? That Cameroon